Okay, so hey everybody, welcome back to the Adroits TT Esports Dota 2 Weekly. As always, I am Basekip, your coverage for this match. This is a round 2 match between Team winRAR and eSpORTS. winRAR going to be over on the Dire side, while eSpORTS are going to be on the Radiant, and first pick going to be going to the Dire in this game. And I think that's about it as far as introductions go. So everything seems to be more or less hooked, and we're going to be getting underway with this game in just a second. So again, a reminder that Silencer has made it through into the pool now, and yeah, that's about it as far as other notes go, as far as any progression in the game. But as we have seen, it has mixed things up a little bit. We're seeing more and more heroes make it through, and nothing too surprising just yet, though we do see a Darkseer ban out here from the side of Team winRAR. And next banned up by eSpORTS, so the big lingering question marks are Batrider, Magnus, who's going to make it through into the pool, and eSpORTS, what is still left? There is still a Silencer. No, I'm not necessarily sure how first pick material he is. So eSpORTS are going to opt to go for the Shadow Demon and the Gyrocopter, and eSpORTS and also a couple of the players from Team winRAR have actually made it quite far in our previous weeks of the Adroits TT Esports Dota 2 Weekly, so we'll see how this all works out. CK Wisp going to be locked in here by Team winRAR, and eSpORTS, we'll see what the response is going to be from them. They could look to offensively try-lane against the CK Wisp, and they're going to opt to pick themselves up a Leshrac here. So if it is going to be an offensive tri-lane, it's going to be a damn strong one between the Shadow Demon, Leshrac, Gyrocopter, and the CK Wisp going to need someone to lend them a hand in dealing with that, if that's going to be the situation. CK is quite tanky, but sort of lacks an escape. And eSpORTS, they've got a good way to counter-initiate any aggression if there is a defensive tri-lane. If there's a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation with the Shadow Demon. So long as the Shadow Demon has some reasonable positioning, it should be fine. Heading into this next round of bans, we're going to have Team winRAR trying to secure their Magnus. An easier matchup. It's going to be Magnus probably taking a solo. eSpORTS are looking for both of their solos at the moment. Though they could look to do something like a Shadow Demon Leshrac duo mid. I think it's just going to be the offensive tri-lane. So it's just solo laners being banned out right now by the Dire, and eSpORTS going to be banning out one solo in the Windrunner. Even if there isn't going to be an offensive tri-lane from them, the Dire are still looking for their offlaner pretty much regardless, and Magnus these days does really prefer to be run on mid, so expecting to see him there for this game.
5 seconds remaining.
And that could be a problem. Picking up the Magnus this early, he's not necessarily a super strong solo laner. There are a lot of options in the pool that deal with him quite deftly. And even the TA not looking too bad at the moment for eSpORTS. And there's only one ban coming up for the Dire side. So a couple of good solos probably going to be making it through regardless. And Puck actually banned out here by eSpORTS. So we could still see some mix-ups from them. Gyrocopter, as always, is very flexible as far as the draft goes. And you can bump the Leshrac around a little bit in terms of farm priority. So they haven't necessarily locked into anything just yet. Though I think if the last support is quite weak from the Dire side, then yeah, I think if the last support is quite weak from the Dire side, then we'll probably see that offensive tri-lane. And okay, so need one more we need probably just another solo ban out here from Team winRAR, and yeah, so TA is going to be banned out. Wouldn't have been too bad to pick up for eSpORTS since there aren't really any dots or anything like that over on the side of winRAR. So a lot of the standard range solos being banned out, and I think that sort of the trio for me that I really think of is Puck, Quap, and then maybe half a step below is the Templar Assassin, just with a couple of the nerfs that she's suffered recently. So winRAR have been able to secure probably at least a reasonable matchup for their Magnus. And when you're in a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation, if the one team solos completely trample the other teams, then the tri-lane can be a little bit moot. If the exchange is more even, then it's fine. But anywho. Oh yeah, and apologies, I don't think we have spectators on for this game, so nobody can watch through the client, and I have one friend who is complaining about that, so apologies there. So we're gonna have a Rubik pickup here by the Dire. It's a fairly good pickup as far as that defensive tri-lane goes, if they are going to be offensively tri-laned against, and Rubik always nice since you can break the Leshrack's stun chain. It'll break the stun chain, you get the disruption, but then if you stop the split earth, then whoever's jumped can sort of escape. But the big problem right now for both sides is that there's sort of one hero that needs to start things off. On both sides. So Shadow Demon needs to be there if somebody initiates onto Infernity, but at the same time, he needs to be the one that starts things off. So if he's too defensive, then they're never really going to be able to find kills. If he's too aggressive, then he's probably just going to get jumped on and then won't really be able to save himself. So needs to be careful. And you just heard my phone buzz there. It's running out of battery, so I'm just gonna chuck it away. And Beastmaster actually going to be picked up here by iNfernity, so that's going to be one of their solos, and their last solo should really give away what the laning situation is going to be. It could potentially be an offlaner, and with the Nature's Prophet pickup as well, they might be a little bit deterred from running this offensive tri-lane, but it's actually going to be a Juggernaut, so interested to see how this works. Interested to see where it's going to be laned as well. Gyrocopter could be one of the solos, Beastmaster taking up the second solo position, and then the tri-lane being composed of Shadow Demon, Leshrack, and Juggernaut. But we're going to be getting underway with the game in just a second, and I'm going to remember to switch to the overlay. So, hey everybody, welcome to the game, and we've got somebody who's in the game in chat. So that's Vacus playing the Magnus. Tux is going to be on the Nature's Prophet. Kriatret is going to be on the Rubik. We've got Jabano Gavno playing the Wisp, and Frozer is going to be on the Chaos Knight. Over on the side of Infinity, Black Cadillac on the Shadow Demon, Weaver Beaver on the Juggernaut. We've got Kosan's NS playing the Gyrocopter. K is going to be on the Leshrack, and that leaves Lucy to play the Beastmaster. We've got a little bit of scribbling. We've got a very quick pause. So yeah, and yeah, Ryan is now getting the message in chat that because there's no spectators, because there's no spectators on, he's frustrated. So, anywho, so we've got a pause. We've actually got Infernity making their way down towards the bottom lane. Right now, warding situation is obs and sentries, no smoke. So we'll see how this is all going to work out. Both teams actually going towards their safe lanes right now, and looks like Tux just going to be starting himself off in the jungle, so the jungle / off lane, and Tux actually asking for a remake. We have an admin in the game, so it's not up to me. Yeah, so they just want to ditch their stand-in at the moment, so we'll have to see. Oh. Sec. Just give me a second, guys. I'm gonna have to get confirmation. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna have a very quick remake. I'm just gonna print screen just to make sure that we have the draft, though I should be able to remember it. And yeah, we're gonna have to jump out, leave game, and then find this lobby again. Oh man. I would fight further, but we're going to get underway with the game. So sorry about that, Ryan. Looks like we're going to stick with spectators off. There's a stream already, so there's no advantage to be gained from either side by having spectators. But anyway, and I guess there's no disadvantage either. Whatever. I'm rambling a little bit. We're going to be getting back in with this AP remake in just a second, and we're doing this because Team winRAR have been able to replace their stand-in with their actual player, which is Ezlor. And I asked for spectators, Ryan, but sorry, wasn't able to get it. I'm not insistent enough, apparently. I mean, the argument against spectators in a normal game, in a scrim, without a stream, would be that you know, it's a 2-minute window into the game, and you can use it for some shenanigans. But when there's a 2-minute delayed stream, which will be lining up with Dota TV anyway, I don't necessarily see the argument against it. But anyway, welcome back to the Adroit's TT Esports Dota 2 Weekly. This is week 3 of this competition. We're having an AP remake of this match between iNfernity.International and Team winRAR. This is in round 2 of this competition. I'm basically bringing you guys this game, and that's about it as far as introductions go. We did already have the draft previously. I don't know if you guys are also going to see that. It's going to depend on how the VODs have been spliced up. But getting into the game, over on the side of iNfernity, we're going to have Black Cadillac playing the Shadow Demon. Lucy is going to be on the Beastmaster. Weaver Beaver is on the Juggernaut. Kosan's NS is on the Gyrocopter. K is going to be on the Leshrac. Over on the side of a winRAR, we're going to have Frozer playing the Chaos Knight. It's going to be Vicus playing the Magnus. Thanks for the shout out. Tux is going to be playing the Nature's Prophet. Kriatret on the Rubik, and that leaves Ezlor to play the Wisp. So don't get confused, that's not Keeper of the Light, that is Ezlor playing a Wisp. So I guess Ezlor in disguise there. Looks like everything is more or less set, so we're going to be getting underway with this game. And as far as lanes go, looks like we haven't seen any item changes or anything like that. It's just the player, so nothing sneaky going on at the moment. Looks like it is going to be a mid Gyrocopter. Bottle Rush primed for him, and Beastmaster is actually just chilling out over at the Ancients right now, so it's going to be an off-lane / Ancient Beastmaster, and winRAR just staking their claim to the top rune right now, and they actually get a ward down on the Infernity Ancient, so good awareness there of what the Beastmaster is going to be capable of. And unless the sentries, okay, first of all, are they sentries? Yes, there are. And then, unless the sentries are dropped off with the courier, there's a fresh set. This is a really nice response from Infernity. They're going to be able to deward their camp, and they might be able to even do it before the 30-second spawn, which will mean that Beastmaster is going to be able to get the 30-second spawn and the minute spawn, which is going to be absolutely fantastic for him. And yeah, looks like he's going to be fine to deward, and yeah, still got plenty of time to get out. So the immediate response from Infernity works out fantastically. Not sure who bought those sentries, though it looks like it was just Lucy, so was hoping to hold on to that goal, but not going to be able to do so. And now that we have the Ancient spawn, he can either look to stack that on the minute, or see if he can soak up some EXP on top. Though it looks like lane control is going fine for winRAR right now, so I think the right decision might have been just to chill out and get that 1-minute stack off, though he's just going to come up towards top right now. And yeah, we get a ping out on the Ancients, but they're not going to be able to get that stack off right now. And Kosan isn't going to want to leave the lane just to stack things up for the Beastmaster. We're seeing Gyrocopter do exactly what he does best on mid, which is be an absolute pain in the ass as far as harassment goes. So Vicus getting harassed down a little bit there. Bottle almost ready to go for Kosan's, and Kriatret actually came down, popped down a sentry, got the D-ward off, but didn't get a reward on the camp. Did he have a second obs? He did not. So that's a little bit interesting. They just got rid of Beastmaster's sentry ward there. He's now down here to look for potentially a stack on the camp. Hasn't managed to pick up a single point of EXP just yet, and Tux actually has managed to get the wave back a little bit towards his tower down on bot, so able to soak up at least a degree of experience there. Our mid matchup actually favoring the Magnus a little bit right now, and he's going to have his bottle up quite soon. And Kriatret makes another excursion down to the Ancients, but needs to be careful. In comes the Gyrocopter, has the Rocket Barrage available, and to the level 1 Rubik, that is a lot of damage, but looks like Kriatret is going to be fine to walk into the Ancients and be able to block that off. The 2-minute rune does spawn at the same time. So a nice little play from the Rubik, but expensive as far as his time goes. We've got both bottles flying out at the moment, and oh no, Lucy gets stuck up on the high ground, chasing after the Rubik there, and now stuck. We need a flying courier, and we need a TP scroll to get him out of here. And frankly, cheeky plays from the Rubik. They've even got a ward up on the high ground right now, so Rubik can just camp this right now and try and get a second lift as soon as the courier comes in. So this is going to take either a TP from a support to try and secure this, or Kosan's having to sacrifice a little bit of an advantage that he has on mid lane right now. So Beastmaster not having a fun time whatsoever, though iNfernity leveraging their early push quite well down on the bottom lane, getting some points up in the healing ward, and 2 points up in the Edict. Should be able to find this early tier 1 right now, but Tux and Kriatret will bring the sweet relief of death, I suppose, to Lucy right now, because he's not going to be able to do anything else. It's this is cruel and unusual punishment. Kosans comes in to try and find a little bit of rebuttal, but it's actually still 3 here. Creature dropping low, and they've got the Treants here to soak up the majority of the Rocket Barrage. Kosans a little bit questionable on this decision to make his way through, and no boots just yet, still being chased down. Is there a fresh tether? There will be in just a second, and in comes Vicus, throws out the nuke, and that's going to be a kill, picked up the way of winRAR. So while it was guaranteed that Lucy was going to go down, it was frankly a bit of a misplay from the Gyrocopter to make his way up. And iNfernity, they're not done just yet. They want the tier 2 tower down on bot as well. This is going to give a lot of space to Tux to try and find a little bit of farm, but getting themselves off to an early lead, we'll see how it pays off for them. They do have a fairly early to mid-game oriented lineup, and the gold definitely going a long way for the Beastmaster, who is still yet to claim a single point of experience. Eslor off to the side. We've got a whole bunch of winRAR's heroes making their way down towards bot. It's still the level 1 Rubik. And no, are they going to be able to get the deny? Yes, nicely played there by Tux. K thrown back there, but Eslor not going to be able to find the tether stun. So winRAR invest 3, but they get the deny. So not a terrible exchange overall, and CK is still just farming to his heart's content up on top. A long way ahead of the Juggernaut right now, since, well, Weaver Beaver, they've been pushing as opposed to farming. We've actually got a second point picked up in the healing ward at level 3. So a very aggressive push right now from iNfernity. We do have some arcane boots now picked up on K, and with this lane completely pushed out, iNfernity are going to have to turn their attention to other lanes. They do, the Beastmaster pickup makes a little bit more sense in light of this sort of early push strat that they're going for, but winRAR don't really have a hero that they're waiting around for to farm up. So we've got a smoke popping off from iNfernity, looking to keep the pressure on, and looking to tip this mid lane a little bit further back in favor of Kosan, since Vicus, well, since Kosan died and Vicus actually got a little bit of that farm. That is trouble. Vicus has an invis rune right now, and do they actually have any counter invis? They do. There is the sentry ward, the spin over the top, the soul catcher as well. Skewering K back. He's got the invis, but not going to be able to use it. So 1 kill picked up by iNfernity on mid, and I mean, it's unfortunate, and there wasn't really all that much that Vicus could do about it. Since with the lane pushed out as far as it is down on bot, it's difficult to know where the Radiant heroes are, that they don't really have the potential to farm the jungle or anything like that. So you have to suspect that they're going at least for something. And iNfernity deciding they're not done as far as this push goes. Continuing it on mid, Frank 2 Edict pops off one more time, and Fortification's still a long way away right now for winRAR, though they do have that reverse polarity up. And that invis would have been spotted by iNfernity when they came in for that gank, so it shouldn't really count them unawares. Okay, so iNfernity make their way up towards top. Lucy is now up to level 3, so while the supports have been drawn away to other lanes, he has been able to get himself at least a degree of farm. Kosan actually makes his way down towards bot to try and put some pressure on Tux, who's actually going to TP himself back to base at the moment, and almost a Hand of Midas finished up for him, has the recipe ready to go, and a little bit of action, but Vicus still has this invis. Is there going to be an initiation on Frozer? Yes, there will be. The huge reverse polarity catches everyone. Vicus still being spun to death, however. Is this damage going to be enough? Couple more right clicks is all they need, and actually the kill picked up there, but Frozer turns around, 3 seconds stun, now up on Lucy. The healing ward keeping him alive, at least for a little. It manages to throw out the axes, but still drops regardless, and Kriatret's still going to work. They get the soul catcher down. Frozer's going to drop from one more right click from Weaver Beaver, but Black Cadillac dies at the same time, so just kills being exchanged a whole while here, and Eslor comes back in to pick up the Rubik. I think that's going to be the end of it. There's no Omni Slash up on the Juggernaut. So a pretty big exchange up on top lane, but winRAR come out. Still 2 kills the lead, though. I think it was pretty much an even trade as far as that actual fight on top went, since we did see those 2 kills going their way. Over with this fiasco up on this hill. And iNfernity just deciding to continue pushing there. It's non-stop aggression from them right now, and it's doing a pretty good job. Ezreal hasn't managed to reach level 6 just yet, so they don't have the relocate online. And they are still finding levels from these kills, though winRAR with that last little exchange doing pretty well. We've got the Reality Rift back in iNfernity. Okay, in a little bit of trouble. The Soulcatcher actually connects on the creep, however. Small misplay there from Black Cadillac. I think he had an open angle elsewhere. The tether goes off, but Ezreal forced to immediately break that one, and a fairly defensive TP in from Tux. Not really going to be able to make too much happen there. Though winRAR just going to throw down a bunch of wards. Vicus continues to farm a little bit down on bot, so it's actually, well, 4v5. winRAR on top. Tux is just going to TP himself out. And Frozer, another target. There's going to be a disruption. The homing missile is flying in as well. There's the Soul Cache who does connect this time around. And the follow-up's done. The Chaos Knight drops very, very quickly as Ezreal and Kriatret just back themselves out, running for the hills there. So frankly, CK getting a little bit caught out. And Tux, is he ready to rejoin this fight up on top? Still a few seconds left until this next TP. And Lucy's actually going to disconnect, so we're going to see a very quick pause as we see some initiation going the way of the Shadow Demons. A couple of seconds away from his next disruption. Vicus has just TP'd himself into the lane. We've got some pings going out on the Wisp. He's only got a tether left at the moment, however. Kriatret doesn't have a nuke. Lucy is actually walking a long way back since he started that walk back to base before he even finished disconnecting. That's sort of how it works. And K pretty low on life. Are they going to be able to push this wave into the tower? So Vicus is probably looking to throw out a nuke right now to get the wave pushing out, which makes the path a little bit difficult for iNfernity to try and get all the way around to Black Cadillac right now. They can't really dive underneath the tower. The healing ward is actually on cooldown at the moment, so Vicus with that one shockwave is going to be, well, should more or less be able to secure the kill on the Shadow Demon. Or he does have disruption. We'll have to see how this all works out in just a second since Lucy has reconnected, but he's a little bit too far away to join this fight, so it's going to be a stagger. Vicus is going to throw the nuke. He's going to push the wave out. Kriatret's going to drop Black Cadillac probably a little bit closer to him. Vicus, as soon as he throws that nuke, he's going to walk back and then probably look to intercept iNfernity. They could try and dive the tower, but they're going to take a lot of damage in the process. And Tux 10 seconds away from that TP up towards top. So that's a little bit of time that winRAR might just need to dance around for. But yeah, we're ready to go, and we're going to see how this plays out in just a second. There's the nuke thrown by Vicus. He's going to back himself off. Black Cadillac actually thrown further away. So winRAR deciding that they do not want to take that engagement. CK would have respawned about the same time and been able to TP up towards the top lane. And Tux does now have the spread. Well, does now have the global teleportation off cooldown. But a little bit of an anticlimax up on top, and everybody on iNfernity just going to be topped off by this healing ward right now. So, well, readying themselves for the next push in just a second. But Tux is putting some pressure on mid and might be able to find just an exchange for the mid tier 1. And TP's actually going to come out right now for Lucy, but he's only level 4. Needs to be pretty careful. And the tower actually already taking some pretty significant damage. Vicus still just waiting. Another TP up towards top by Kriatret. Tux again can join this fight at any time, and he's got the Nature's Wrath available as well. Nature's Wrath pops. They're looking for the initiation. It flies through. They've got vision. Vicus chasing forward. He's going to throw the skewer. Reverse polarity. Only going to connect on Black Cadillac, who is reverse polarity. Well, who is reality rifted back. But that's going to be about it. And a pretty big investment, frankly, from winRAR. Only finding the one kill there in exchange for the polarity. And Shadow Demon going to be up in about 10 seconds. Tux looking for this tower on mid as well, but fortification still not used just yet. And with the TP support coming in, he's going to be forced to back off. But winRAR actually taking the opportunity to put the pressure up on top lane right now. So being a bit sneaky, the tower was denied on mid. But the lift back on Weaver Beaver, he still got spin to try and escape. But stolen healing ward, that was actually fantastic for Kriatret to get, and that's going to be a very easy tier 1 claimed on top, though the exchange is happening for iNfernity on mid. Going to be taking this tier 1 at the same time. Not a whole lot of farm for Cossons, but he's got 1300 gold up in the bank right now. And he's going to be making his way down towards bot, where there is a regen rune waiting for him. And so we've got Bracer being worked towards right now by K. Where are the early game pushing items, frankly? I'd love to see somebody working towards an Urn. The plan was probably Lucy, but he hasn't been able to find any farm whatsoever. So we're not going to see a mech, and we're not going to see an urn for a while. And if they want to continue this early aggressive push, they're going to need it. I mean, hopefully turning those turning those towers into gold, turning those towers into items is really, really important, especially if they're going to be looking to take these, take the tier 2s fairly soon. I mean, winRAR doing a pretty good job of keeping the warding going, though it is fairly defensive. Oh no, actually this dire wards, base kip, dire wards. So it's relatively defensive right now from them. They don't yet have the relocate up on the Wisp, so we'll probably see a switch in style fairly soon. The reverse polarity is going to be up in just a second as well, so they're looking for a little bit of action around the map. And CK unfortunately does have a couple of deaths to his name, so has been slowed down a little bit. I'll get a sprout up on Lucy on mid. He can just axe his way out of this one, and Vicus and Creature come in, but it's just a little bit too little too late to try and find that kill. And just going to be backing themselves off right now. Is there going to be another smoke available for iNfernity? Again, they've shown this really early game aggressive setup that they've been going for, and once you sort of go for it, you need to follow through, because otherwise they're going to start falling behind heavily as far as XP goes. And it's about a 3k XP lead for winRAR right now, with actually a 1k gold lead in their favor, despite the tower situation on the map. And it's 2 towers taken by winRAR, with one of those being denied, and then 3 towers taken by iNfernity, I believe, with 1 being denied down on bot. So interesting to see that the farm discrepancy is actually there, and that's really just coming from the 3 farmers over on the side of winRAR doing a little bit better job and finding a little bit of space to farm while iNfernity have been pushing as 5. So that's been pretty good, and the Nature's Prophet pickup working wonders in that regard as well as far as the split push goes. We've got a relocate going in on mid. They're looking for Lucy, and the TP in as well from Tux. Lucy in trouble. The Reality Earth back. I don't think they even need the Chaos Bolt, but going to be thrown out for good measure. So finally a relocate kill picked up by winRAR, and as we see that relocate, we do now see some more wards up around the map, sort of on the river, keeping an eye on iNfernity moving up into the top lane. And they've all walked pretty much past this ward. There was a smoke, however, but they're now down a player, and Weaver Beaver going to be initiated on right now, going to be forced to use the spin defensively. We've got the Purge going out on Frozer. We'll see if winRAR are going to try and continue with this aggression. We've got TPs coming in from Cossons, but it's only 3 up on top. If they can catch anyone, they're in trouble. Shadow Demon defensively disrupts himself to try and buy some time, but the sprout up on him. Black Cadillac going to be going down in just a second, and Tux actually grabbing that kill. Nice 3-man, nice 3-man stun there from K. Tries to find some space, and the call down over the top. Creature trying to spin, but will drop in the end, and the roar thrown out on Tux at the same time. Frozer trying to retreat, but a nice counter kill. A nice couple of counter kills picked up by iNfernity, and that call down doing an absolutely absurd amount of damage. Everybody going to be topped off in just a second by the healing ward, and now on to the tier 1 tower, which with the edict should be falling in just a second. There is still a fortification available, and bot tower under a little bit of pressure, but it hasn't taken any damage just yet. Vicus getting pretty close to his blink, and a pretty reasonable timing for him, frankly, even without any kills, nothing but assists to his name. And iNfernity deciding that they're not done up on top just yet. The reverse polarity is available for Vicus, but a little bit low on mana, and would love to have that blink dagger before looking to do anything else. So we might just see winRAR throw a little bit of spam the way of top, and then fortify if they absolutely need to. And the relocate goes down on bot. Frozer and Ezlor come in and find a kill on Black Cadillac. So we've got indecisive pings right now from iNfernity. We've got some people saying bot, some people saying just push top. Tuck's already going to work down in this bottom tower, and even the drum charge popped off. Fortification not available for iNfernity, so it looks like it is just going to be the tier 1 tower falling uncontested. And ping spam goes out. Juggernaut wants the top tower. He's actually walking down towards bot without a TP scroll. So looking for the pressure there, but he actually just wants a little bit of farm. Doesn't really have a whole lot as far as items go right now, and winRAR actually just using the Nature's Prophet to buy themselves, the Nature's Prophet and the relocate to buy themselves a lot of space. We've now got the blink dagger finished up on the Magnus, as I have a weird texture pop, texture glitch all the way across the screen. I think I need to update my 7970 drivers one more time. So sorry about that one, guys. Hopefully it wasn't too distracting. Right now for iNfernity, how are those pushing items coming along? And I think that's really what we need to be concerned with. We've got what looks to be a BKB being worked towards both by K and Cossons, but no sign of an urn, no sign of a mech for them just yet. And Tux now with an ultimate orb, looks like it's just going to be a hex rush. Mech almost finished up for Ezlor, and a drum and now a armlet being worked towards by Frozer. So farm. Have to say, in favor of Dire still, and understandably so, just as you can see their items. But yeah, the Blink Dagger is going to be a huge pickup, and iNfernity playing as if they're on the back foot right now. They've still got one more smoke up in the inventory of Black Cadillac to try and make something happen, but every single time they're off the map, winRAR taking full advantage of it and just continuing to split push with the Nature's Prophet. So it's a difficult way out for iNfernity, and while they did get those early towers, oh, we got the jump straight down towards bot. Kosan's in trouble, 2-second stun up on him. He's going to drop, does manage to get the call down for only a couple of seconds left. eSlor, is he going to be bursted down? Yes, he will. Now Frozer, a little bit stuck. The Omni Slash jumps in from the Juggernaut, tries to walk into the neutrals. There's the spin, and will go down as well. So 2 for 2 the exchange, down on bot. Lucy died to neutrals, so it might have lagged or something there, or maybe somebody came in aggressively. But yeah, that's a little bit weird. There's nothing to give vision for a Nature's Wrath or anything like that to fly through. So it was actually 1 for 2 the exchange down on bot, but we had the Beastmaster dying at the same time, and maybe he just didn't lose any gold because he did chop up the majority of his mech components there. So maybe a fairly timely trip back to base. We'll have to see. And yes, it would definitely be nice if the cosmetic wards were different on both sides, and even just the basic wards as well. It would definitely help me out, since apparently I'm red-green colorblind, though I'm not. I'm just having issues with whose wards are whose. So I think I'm okay at this point. As far as the aggressive warding goes, for winRAR, still doing a pretty good job. They're just sort of maintaining the river position at the moment. They should know that they're in a good position as far as farm goes, and still using the Nature's Prophet to great effect to find all of these towers. And I mean, even if iNfernity managed to take this towards the late game, they don't really have ultra late game carries to be using. So I think they just have to continue pushing, but right now just backing off. The mech is almost finished up on Lucy, so I criticized them a little bit earlier for not having that one. There's a BKB now finished on Gosen. That's a 10-second charge, a lot less susceptible now to those relocate ganks. K is still a long way away from his BKB, but yeah, we've got some items coming along for iNfernity at this point in time. And eSlor has his mech finished. Tux, how close is he towards that Hex? Getting pretty close. The Omelet probably almost finished. For the Chaos Knight, we've got an Invis rune spawning, we've got a couple of pings flying out. Nothing on the courier at the moment. So what you see is what you get as far as the net worth. And yeah, winRAR just applying map pressure ever, and iNfernity continuing to play as 5, since every single time they've left somebody alone, they have been killed off by a relocate, but yeah. It's not working out well, and they're trying to find a little bit of farm up on the Juggernaut. He's actually working his way towards an Aghanim Scepter right now. They're going to go for a smoke. Okay, so go to smoke. We've got some pings out. One potential strategy is to try and bait the Gyrocopter a little bit and then have the relocate come in, but Magnus... Oh, smoke into smoke. They're going to spot. No, it's still an Invis run up on K. There's a reverse polarity out on 2. The Skewer's going to be flying through at the same time as well. Dragging him back through the tether. There's a defensive disruption up from Cadillac. The roar thrown out from Lucy. In comes the call down. Tux in the middle of that one. And the Omni Slash and over the top. Not jumping into the trains at all. Tux is going to be burned to death. 2 for 1 the exchange so far. eSlor jumps back in. Frozer going to work with the healing ward, keeping everyone topped off for now. And Frozer dropping low. BKB Kosan's staying his ground. The homing missile up on eSlor. Frozer going to try and TP himself out. He's going to be able to do so successfully. Nicely played by the Rubik to try and buy him that space. And now Vicus and Kriya just going to turn themselves around up on that hill. So it's a 3 for 2 exchange in the end, though the 2 carries for iNfernity surviving the team fight. Yeah, no buybacks used, so they did manage to survive their way through. And yeah, not a bad exchange overall by any stretch of the imagination, especially with an Invis Magnus initiating with the reverse polarity. And what have we got item-wise? So first, almost has that. Well, almost has his omelet finished up. Tuck's gonna have that Hex quite soon, though he did die in that last team fight. And a pretty nice team fight overall, I think I have to say, for iNfernity. But it's still definitely anyone's game right now with only a 4-kill split. Tuck's being chased down a little bit by Kosan's, but just going to be TPing himself out. And yeah, both teams just, well, actually really defensive warding right now from iNfernity. Trying to keep tabs on any movements from winRAR through their jungle. And a couple of sentries backing this up as well. So making sure that they don't get caught unawares by the smoke. They have used the majority of their smokes already, I want to say. Yep, so they don't have a smoke for about 8 minutes, which is a pretty big deal. I don't think they have any up in their inventories either. No, there's no smoke on the map for them right now, unless there's one in the courier's inventory, which there is not. So, iNfernity, 8 minutes of winRAR having smoke while they don't have smoke. And they've been using it quite well to try and find... Oh, okay, I lie. There's a smoke on Black Cadillac, but that's the last one for a couple of minutes. So, throw all of that out the window. They've still got one opportunity left as far as finding a smoke gank goes. And Tux now with the Hex finished up, so it's a straight Hex rush for him, but going to be a big help, especially as far as locking down the Gyrocopter goes. If they can burst him down before his BKB, which they do definitely have the damage to, accomplish, then that's going to be trouble for these fights in iNfernity, since the Gyrocopter has just been providing so much space. He pops with the BKB, he looks scary, he gets the flak cannon rolling, which forces the supports back, and then even just the call down defining the space of the fight. So winRAR, well, just chilling out towards the Roshan pit right now, waiting for some farm up on Frozer. They've got one more relocate ready to go, but it's a 5-man group up from iNfernity right now. Again, the mech has now been finished up on Lucy, so a nice pickup for these team fights. And we've got, well, a big green zone drawn out there by winRAR, and very accurately so as well. They know they know more or less. They know more or less where iNfernity are at the moment, since the lanes are pushed out in their favor, and they're actually doing a little bit better as far as map control goes. And yep, winRAR just going to head themselves into the Roshan pit while all of their lanes are pushing out. They've only got vision pretty much over the pit, and there is still that smoke available for iNfernity if they want to try and interrupt this one. And actually all of winRAR in the pit, which is frankly very, very... well, frankly, a little bit optimistic, I have to say, and could have potentially been punished, but iNfernity not in position to do so. But yeah, I feel like Vicus, he's not actually hitting Roshan. He shouldn't necessarily be in the pit. There is an Invis Rubik sneaking around to try and reveal any smokes or anything like that, and Roshan is going to fall regardless. But I feel like they really should have had somebody outside of the pit there, and somebody who could do something if iNfernity jumped straight in. But it all comes to naught, so the criticism, I guess, unwarranted. winRAR probably know what they do. Probably know what they're doing. So it's still only a 4-kill lead. We haven't seen any action in a very long time. And iNfernity grouping up for a smoke right now. This is going to go undetected. Tux is going to continue to split push up on the top lane. Looks like he's making his way towards perhaps a Lothar's right now. The line drawn across from iNfernity, but all of winRAR just going to be backing themselves out. And again, they don't really need to take a 5-on-5 engagement right now. They can just continue to out-farm iNfernity because they don't want to take a 5-man engagement. And then whenever they see someone who is able to be picked off, whenever iNfernity try and farm themselves, then that's their opportunity. So right now, winRAR don't necessarily need to be looking to take full-on fights, which they have the potential of losing, but iNfernity, it's still this smoke, and it's still heading towards mid. The gank train is coming, but it's now revealed, and Kriatret and Vike is going to be able to back themselves out. We get some ping spam going, and Tux's trans continue to push in up on this top lane. So iNfernity, we'll see what the decision is going to be from them. WeaverBeaver is actually going to TP himself up towards top, but no, there's a Reality Rift and a Reverse Polarity thrown to cancel that. Good defensive disruption to buy some time off that. 4 seconds done. There's the roar thrown out in the call in, and over the top. Vicus jumps his way through the team fight. Everyone's still just burning to death. The stolen roar goes through. K drops low. Frozer picks up that kill, and now Tux gets that one more sprite on Black Cadillac, which he's going to drop from Coastdowns regardless, but the BKB already used the Reality Rift back. Frozer finds that kill. Double kill for the Chaos Knight, and looks like 3 for 1. The exchange, even a buyback used from WeaverBeaver, but comes in a little bit too late to try and do anything. So actually a 4 for 1 exchange there in favor of winRAR. They might have had the Aegis used as well. No, it's still in the hands of Frozer. What a fantastic teamfight taken by them. And iNfernity just weren't prepared to take that one. This sneaky little ward providing vision of the Juggernaut up on the high ground, which allowed the initiation to happen. And iNfernity were backing off since they just thought, okay, Juggernaut's going top. We can't take a 5-on-5 fight without him, so we're going to back ourselves out. And the immediate initiation onto WeaverBeaver. iNfernity getting caught with their pants down a little bit there. So nicely played by winRAR, now extending their kill lead out to 7 gold, heading towards 7.5k there, and about a 10k XP lead at the same time. So we're really seeing iNfernity suffer from the 5-man Dota that they've been playing, and they haven't been able to progress as far as towers go in a very long time. This tier 2 on mid and the tier 2 on top have been up for ages now. And Lucy, not a whole lot of item progression from him. We almost got the BKB finished up from K, but yeah, it's not looking fantastic, and Weaver Beaver with that death, now even further away from his Aghanim Scepter. So, Tux just continues to split push, and this is the bane of iNfernity.'s 5-man push lineup. And they haven't been able to really change strategy at all either. We don't really have aggressive wards down from winRAR, but again, they don't need them. They're heading towards the late game in a stronger position. Tux up on top. Roar's going to be used for him. Looks like he will drop here. Does still have the Hex available, but in comes the relocate. The call down and over the top. They're still looking for the kill on Tux, but the mech pops, keeping him alive for now. Cousins comes in aggressively with the BKB. Weaver Beaver going to work. Tux will drop. A couple of seconds left there. Double damage pinged out. Omni Slash goes. Oh! Where is Juggernaut? Is he with them? No. Okay, so Omni Slash ended. Ezreal survives a fraction of HP. And just survives the amazing flying right clicks there. Frozer also survives and didn't even lose the Aegis there, so another fantastic team fight taken by winRAR. And sheesh, that was a scary Omni Slash. Had it killed the Wisp, then Frozer probably would have gone down a second time, since Kriatret and Vicus, I don't think they were all that close to that team fight. So right now, iNfernity still sort of on the back foot. It's still only a 7-kill discrepancy, but winRAR continue to pressure. They still have this Aegis up for about 2 minutes, so they can probably actually look to team fight at the moment. Tux is going to be responding in just a second, and he's actually going to TP himself up towards top to try and apply some split pressure, though the TP cooldown will be up in time for the potential engagement down on bot. And iNfernity need to get themselves in position for this. Cosigns actually opted to farm up the Ancients there, and that means that he needs to go potentially back to base to heal himself, which is definitely going to buy enough time for Tux to have his TP up and ready to go. So it should be full force for both teams down in this bottom lane, but we've actually got the Phantasm popping off. The fortification used from iNfernity, yeah, there was the Phantasm there. Frozer still on fairly low life, but still does have that Aegis available, and Vicus potentially looking for the initiation, as is Lucy. He's got the Roar available, but it's still a fairly short range Roar, and all the while Tux up on top. Split push, and should be able to find this tower as winRAR back out. We'll see if there's going to be any sort of punish here from iNfernity, but they just don't really have the potential to catch anyone out. There's no blink up on the Beastmaster. There's nothing along those lines. And Tux actually now going to force some TPs back. So, oh, and the relocate comes straight for the Gyrocopter. We've got the TPs out, and Ezreal only brings himself. So he's now running for the hills, but should be back to whence he came in just a second. Did they know where that was? Probably not, and he's actually going to drag Tux back with him. So, a little bit weird to see the Wisp appear by himself, but nothing really came of it. In the end, Weaver Beaver 700 gold away from that Aghanim Scepter, but things looking still pretty good for winRAR. I think they did just lose the Aegis, or they're only a few seconds away as I say that. It pops out of Frozer's inventory. They're still down on bot right now, so a slightly more even footing for iNfernity as far as this fight goes, and there's going to be a flank potentially. Vicus a little bit too far away to try and do anything here. Tux is just going to go into the Lothars and TP himself out. Looks like he's going to be fine. Is there going to be any potential for punish? CK is very fast. Rubik is quite slow, but he's hiding down. He's got a gem as well, and iNfernity would love this pick off the Axis Fly. Kriatret crossing his fingers, hoping that nobody finds him. They knew where he was, but they couldn't actually cancel that TP. We've got a Purge out on what? An illusion? I think it was just a Magnus illusion there. Got immediately popped by the Purge. And we've got another aggressive ward down from winRAR right now. So every single time they make movements into enemy territory, they're doing a really good job of putting down opportunistic wards, which makes them less obvious as well, because iNfernity.'s eyes aren't necessarily on the support who's placing a ward, but they're on the overall engagement. So that's always nice to see. And Tux, he's actually going to be TPing down towards the bottom lane. We've got the relocate coming in as well, trying to split things up a little bit, and Lucy, the immediate target. The rest of iNfernity coming in. Are they going to take this teamfight? Kosan looks like he wants to. Throws in the call down. BKB popped as well. Magnus looking for some initiation. The stun is going to connect. They're going to jump on Vicus. He's going to drop. It's 1-for-1 the trade so far, but the tier 2 tower does fall as well. Weaver Beaver jumping in. He has already used the Omni Slash, however, and winRAR decides the engagement is over. And oh, the Purge on Kriatret. He's going to try and throw out the Edict, but a greedy steal from him is going to find him nothing but death, and he loses the Dwell. That's a big pickup for iNfernity, and frankly, a little bit of a mistake there from the Rubik. The disengage surely was called and just wanted to refresh an ability or something like that. Gets punished for it. Now they lose the gem, and that's going to be the end of the aggressive warding from winRAR, at least for a while. That's a really big loss for them, because now iNfernity not only control the map a lot better, they can get rid of the aggressive wards, they're also going to have way better control over the next Roshan, just as far as vision goes there, and if there's a little bit of a Mexican standoff happening, so sheesh. That was a big mistake from the Rubik. It's still about an 8k lead in favor of winRAR, and about a 10k gold lead as well, so they're not actually that far behind, but still a little bit of a mistake, though. Chat gave me a shout out at the start of the game, so I'm definitely not going to be... Oh, well, I think I was a bit harsh. I apologize. It was greedy, it got punished, but it wasn't necessarily a terrible decision. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on that point and try and move on. Tux looks like he's making his way towards potentially BKB, could also be an Ags. Probably just going to be seeing the BKB try and fight a little bit more, and if he's BKB'd and they actually force a roar on him, then Frozer's actually going to be really happy with that, and he's actually got his BKB picked up now as well, so 10-second BKB available. Looks like winRAR waiting around for a smoke, which is going to be zipping at... No, not a smoke, it's a sentry ward, but it's going to be zipping out in just a second all the same, and just waiting for the defense on mid. There isn't a smoke anywhere that I can see, though we did see a mysterious appearing smoke on Black Cadillac earlier. And speaking of smoke, they've got iNfernity going for one of their own right the second. winRAR still just waiting around on mid, playing a little bit of 5-man Dota. Roshan is going to be up in less than a minute's time. We've got the Greater Hawk doing a bit of scouting there, and iNfernity looking for the pickoff to try and secure this next Roshan, but winRAR have to know that something is going on, especially given that nobody is in these lanes, and lane control is very important heading towards Roshan as well. So iNfernity take a gamble trying to find the kill as opposed to the push advantage, but they're going to be forced to be backed off unless they can lose this tier 2. Oh, the high ground advantage does go the way in front of the BKB popped off from Frozer. K dropping low, pops up his BKB. The call down going to be on top of everyone. The reverse body, however, connects on 3. There's the Phantoms and Weaver Beaver. Already dead. Cosigns popped his BKB earlier on in the fight. 3 seconds stun up on the Shadow Demon. It's going to be a 5-0 wipe in favor of, well, 5-1 wipe in favor of winRAR. They reclaim the gem, and everyone in iNfernity just sitting on the bench right now. They do have 1 or 2 buybacks available, but tier 2 tower on mid going to be taken in just a few seconds by Tux, and that's the last outer tower. They could look to put some damage on the tier 3 before backing off to Roshan, but this is looking really, really good for winRAR right now. 12k the XP lead, along with about a 12k gold lead as well, and now just heading straight up onto the high ground. No buybacks used just yet from iNfernity. They did have a fortification available, so going to be popping that one off. Another buyback from the gyrocopter, but we'll see if it's too little too late. They forced that buyback. They got some damage on the tier 3. They don't need to overcommit to this, and as I say that, Vicus has even just made his way down to the Roshan pit, so showing their full intentions there. He's actually going to activate the invis right now. It doesn't have the reverse polarity available, so not a huge loss. He's got the Vlads up as well to try and help out with this rush, and actually going to reveal himself out of the invis there. So winRAR maybe could have made a little bit more use out of that one. The Hawk comes in for some scouting, but this Observer Ward keeping an eye on its movements, and iNfernity, if they lose this teamfight at Rosh, this could pretty much be it, and Roshan already dropping low. Froze is going to have that in his inventory in just a second. Vicus waiting off to the side, only 15 seconds away from that next reverse polarity, and what does the Rubik have stolen? He's got Primal Roar, this is huge. Frozer comes out, gets Roar defense, aggressive disruption there. Kosan's already hexed up, does manage to get the call down, and the Omni Slash flying in over the top. Kosan still drop, Frozer still stands ground, he's got his Aegis up as well. Tux going to drop, reverse polarity connects on 3, couple of BKB and the spinning unit in there as well. The Shadow Demon drops at the same time, everybody getting a little bit split up on the side of winRAR right now, but CK makes his triumphant return and gets the stun up on K. He's going to be dropping very, very quickly, and Crit now comes back in, throws down the stolen stun, nice play, kills the Juggernaut, and looks like it's going to be a 5-1 exchange. Lucy tries to juke and TP, but it's not going to be enough, and that's another 5-1 wipe in favor of winRAR. They did lose the Aegis as well, so I suppose 5-2, but looking fantastic for them. They know that Kosan's doesn't have, they know that he doesn't have buyback available. And speaking of Radiant buybacks, what have we got going on? It's pretty much just Black Cadillac at the moment, so not looking great. 14 kill lead right now for winRAR, and just going to be looking to barrel down middle lane. Shadow Demon does now respawn by himself in iNfernity, not on the sidelines for too long, but as we can see, these last couple of team fights have not been working out well for them. There isn't going to be a reverse polarity for this one, however, but I think this is just going to be a Rax in favor of winRAR. Interesting to see that Creatret has actually opted to head down towards bot to put some pressure on there. And the tier 3 tower taken, but that's going to be about it Tux, unfortunately, still dead at the moment. He does have his 10-second BKB available, however, and the greedy man going to be heading into the jungle to try and get a little bit more farm up with his mighties. Interesting to see that he went for the big creep as opposed to the small one, since at this point he doesn't really need all that much more XP, but XP is still damage, so who am I to complain? And we've got a Blink Dagger now picked up on the Rubik, so always a nice luxury for a Rubik to have. We've still got the BKB up on K, but they just haven't been helping out all that much. The Phantasms are now very strong from Frozer and just dropping everyone in a matter of seconds. And Juggernaut has his Aghanim Scepter finished up. The Omni Slash has been doing okay in these team fights, but there's frequently been Treants and some other fodder around to try and soak up a number of the jumps, and even just the illusions from Chaos Knight helping out in a big way in that regard. So Vicus on mid actually has a Mystic Staff picked up. It's going to be Shiva's or a Gwynsu for him, and as I say that, Shiva's is already dropped off, and winRAR right now I'm just going to be looking to go for a little bit of a push down mid. They're probably feeling quite confident with their position in this game, with over a 20k XP lead and about a 20k gold lead as well. And iNfernity, no big item pickups before this next teamfight breaks out. They're looking for a little bit of lane control by pushing out the top lane, but Tux is heading his way down towards bot, and the Nature's Wrath getting all of these lanes pushed in heavily for winRAR. They do actually back off. Looks like Frozer wants to finish his Assault Curious before they go for anything, but that's going to be up in just a few seconds. So, and they're not really waiting around for an Aegis duration or anything like that, so not a bad decision. And again, iNfernity aren't really going to have any big pickups within the next minute or so anyway. And Weaver Beaver probably won't be able to get to the next rank of his Omni Slash either. And that would be a big pickup, but unfortunately there's just not enough XP coming in for iNfernity to try and dodge XP to give the farm to Weaver. So I've got a pause right now from Tux as Frozer crashes out of the game, so we're going to have a very quick pause, probably for a couple of minutes, but both teams do still have enough pauses left for the rest of the game. So yeah, that's about it as far as the status on the game goes right now. iNfernity on the back foot, and frankly, a lineup that's difficult to make a recovery with. It sort of needs to be big defensive team fight and then rolling pickoffs for them to try and find themselves a Rax. And yeah, so mid tower, top tower, still completely full on health. So even a bad team fight taken by a winRAR doesn't really lose them that much, while iNfernity, a single lost team fight at this point in the game, is probably going to spell at least one Rax and potentially multiple Raxes. So yeah, it's tough times for iNfernity, but down but not out, and a well-organized team fight, maybe a huge split earth, could be enough to find them some space and find them a little bit more farm. And the team fight after that will be a little bit easier, and the balance of power shifts, but it's still difficult for them at this point. I guess fortunate that Magnus went for the Shivas as opposed to the Refresher Orb, because the Refresher Magnus is absolutely terrifying, but the Aura stack helps out a little bit more as well. And slowing down Juggernaut's attack speed is also great, because it means that he potentially doesn't get all of the extra slashes during the Omni Slash, and he doesn't actually have that much attack speed at the moment. So the Shivas may actually be enough to knock him down below the threshold where he gets basic attacks in between the Omni Slash jumps. And I guess since we've got a minute I can talk about this. The way that Juggernaut's ultimate works is it's a number of physical nukes. So whenever he pops from place to place, he nukes for a certain amount of physical damage. And the first hit also mini stuns. But in between those hits, Juggernaut is still a unit. So in between those physical nukes, Juggernaut is still a unit, and if he has a fast enough attack speed to be actually able to get an auto attack off, then he can auto attack during his ultimate, and that can proc orb effects and all sorts of things. So the Shivas helps out a little bit in mitigating the damage from the Juggernaut, but it's a minor mechanics interaction point, I guess, for anyone who's interested. And Vicus, yeah, are we ready to go? iNfernity just waiting for a second, and looks like we might have to wait for winRAR as well. As Lauren Frozer, they're all the way up over here, but while I say all the way up over here, they still got the relocate up on the Wisp, so they're not that far away, and Tux as well. He's going to have his teleportation up in just a second. So, while it does only look like Rubik is down here on bot, and that he might be looking a little bit awkward, he's got Vicus just there, and the other three can be anywhere on the map within just a couple of seconds. But yeah, that's about the story of the game right now. How we got to this position was just, I frankly think, the nature of winRAR's lineup and having the Nature's Prophet to continuously split push against the five-man Dota that iNfernity were looking to run. And winRAR finally found the turnaround as far as the momentum went on this tier 2 on top and this tier 2 on mid, and since then iNfernity haven't been able to push it back in their favor. They haven't really been able to make inroads into winRAR's side of the map, and they haven't even been able to really contest Roshan too much. And I guess the other question is, when's Roshan, but it's still about 7 minutes away right now, so not really going to be factoring into the next little bit. So I'll go graphs for you guys one more time. I'll go item pickups, so you guys can see that if there's anything interesting. Any months there, Eslor has a Voidstone picked up, so going to be making his way towards potentially a Yules or a Hex, depending on how rich he's feeling, though he doesn't have a whole bunch of gold up at the moment. What is there anything on the courier? It's a completed Yule Scepter for him, the AC flying out as well for the Chaos Knight. And yep, we do now finally have an unpause, so we're going to be getting underway in just a second. Because we do have the stream up and that pause was long enough, winRAR are actually going to know where everybody is, though iNfernity have the same opportunity, so we've got some pings going out, and the TP in potentially from the Nature's Prophet. There's wards from both sides, whoever's spotting this out, and pings go out on a bunch of wards and a bunch of players. It's the nature of having a long pause and having a stream up, so not too badly managed from either team, I suppose. If it was a LAN event, then you don't get those issues, but it's going to happen with any online event, and unless you don't have a stream, unless you don't have spectators on, that's, I guess, that's an ugly side of the game, but you do sort of have to deal with it. So winRAR pushing in down on bot. Tux is just going to split push his way along top lane and making his way towards some damage right now. Probably just going to be a Monkey King bar for him. Vikas jumps in aggressively, but he gets roared up immediately. Is there going to be any counter initiation here from iNfernity? They're keeping him locked in place, putting out some good damage. The Omnislash pops as well. The reverse polarity only connects on 2. And now the mech heals them up. iNfernity find the fight that they were really looking for, and the Purge out on Tux. Pops the BKB, standing his ground, going to work on Black Cadillac. Hex up as well. Is he going to be able to find this kill? He's still wandering away, and the call down now slowing him down a little bit. One's going to drop 4-second stun in from Frozer, but he's now just being focused down by iNfernity. He pops his BKB, but still slowed down a little bit by the boar, and Kosan's not done. He's still chasing. Frozer going to be out of that BKB in just a second. The homing missile is going to, no, not going to finish him off, but still stunned up there, and Kosan still chasing through the disruption up on the Wisp, and Eslor going to drop as well. Ultra kill for the Gyrocopter. Nice counter initiation there from iNfernity, and the only person to survive is Kriachet. Manages to get the gem to safety, but nicely done for iNfernity, and Gyrocopter are going to be looking a lot scarier in just a second with all of that gold that he just picked up. Roshan's still a ways away, but iNfernity find themselves a little bit of breathing room to, well, just to grab some farm. And we're not going to have to sit back and think about what just happened. Vigas was just chain stunned forever in this position, and winRAR really indecisive as to whether or not they think they should take that fight. In the end, Tux TP'd in, got purged, and that was the initiation that, well, the initiation that iNfernity actually wanted. They wanted the target to keep the push out going, but nicely done by them. Have to say that winRAR are still in a good position, but a bit of a sloppy team fight sets them back a bit, and shows to you that it's still anyone's game, really. There hasn't been a Rax down either, so there's still a ways to go. Juggernaut now up to level 16 as well, so that Omnislash getting that little bit stronger. And Kosan's going to have his Daedalus up in just a second. Looks like it's going to be a Bloodstone now being worked towards by K, but it's going to be quite late. So still a nice pickup regardless, but not a fantastic early timing. And I guess a lot of that just coming down to, had winRAR not had this Nature's Prophet, I think the game would have been very, very different, since they wouldn't have had split push to try and deal with what iNfernity have been going for. But again, the Nature's Prophet pick, thumbs up to it. It's worked out fantastically for winRAR. Got that Yule's finished up on Eslor, and yeah, just winRAR in farming positions a little bit right now. No buybacks available for either team, so I'm just going to switch myself over to net worth right now, and Tux still just farming his way towards that next damage item. Maybe feeling a little bit more hesitant right now, and they might just wait around for the next Roshan to try and ensure things. They do still have the gem, so that they've got both the dire advantage and the vision advantage as far as taking this next Rosh goes. So it's probably a fairly good decision just to wait around for that one. And again, probably feeling quite confident with the rate of farm that they're getting, since they've got people pretty much all over the map, and Tux continues to split push around, so keeping Infernity back on their side right now. They've got winRAR grouping up on mid. They don't have a smoke or anything up at the moment. And Kozan still just farming down on bot. We've got Illusion scouting out right now. Roshan's still a ways away, so winRAR just maybe staking their claim right now. They don't have any wards up, and they do know where Infernity are at the moment, however, just because of the creep wave. Tux is going to go for a bit of a split push up on top, but needs to be very, very cautious that he's not picked off. There isn't a Hex or anything up right now, but as we saw, the Demonic Purge and some Dust was pretty much enough to chase him down. Previously, the engagement actually happens down on bot. Tux is going to continue to push in, but it's a double kill already for Frozer. Where are my eyes? Black Cadillac trying to walk himself away, but Frozer, triple kill now picked up for him, and Kriatret and Vicus going to work. And oh, I've got a buyback coming in, but Frozer goes back to work. Black Cadillac drops, and that's a it's pretty much a 6-man wipe in favor of winRAR, so going to be heading straight up onto the high ground. Black Cadillac going to try and slow things down a little bit up on top, but before that fight broke out, we saw that there were no buybacks, and this is probably going to be 2 racks. And pretty much it, so sorry that I missed the beginning of that game-ending team fight, but frankly with Tux on top, I wasn't expecting it to happen, so map awareness failing me for a second there. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be game over in just a second. IN will be respawning in just a bit, but Ready 1 racks down, and now the second melee barracks will fall in quick succession. Infernity trying to rally the troops back at base, but Juggernaut still 20 seconds away, and even without an Omni Slash available right now. So winRAR, stop to smell the roses, stop to farm up some Moonwells, and tier 3 falls in quick succession up on top. The melee barracks can be falling right now as well. K comes in to try and slow things down, but it's only the 1 racks left for them to claim. And with the AC, it just melts like butter. We've got a lift up on Kriatret. He's still got the gem, but the with the tether on him, overcharge as well, topping him off. Lucy tries to make his escape, but will be killed off. Black Cadillac finds himself in the middle of everything, and Infernity will tap out as Mega Creeps are available for winRAR. So that's going to be it as far as this best of 1 set goes. Infernity, again, it's just the best of 1 single elimination bracket all the way through, so they're going to be going home empty-handed, and winRAR will advance to continue playing their way through this tournament. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This is the Adroit's TT Esports Dota 2 Weekly. As always, I am Baseskip. I'm bringing you guys this match, and a reminder that, well, we've got some fountain farming going on, but a reminder that you should be supporting both Adroit's and TT Esports on all of their social media outlets and things like that, so that both of their Twitters, just to quickly throw those out, are at Adroit's tweets for Adroit's, and at TT Esports for TT Esports, and we've got some ping spam on the gem there, but that's a little bit frustrating. Anyway, I've been Baseskip. I think that pretty much wraps it up for this game. We've got more Dota 2 action coming your way very, very soon, so I hope to see you for all of that. And yeah, if you guys have any feedback for me as far as my casting goes, pop a message in chat or send me an email at baskipdota@gmail.com. I would always love to have constructive criticism back. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next game.